It was 9:45 p.m. The convenience store was preparing to close when 3 masked men burst through the door. Guns, shouting, terror. 23-year-old clerk Maya Chen screamed and fell to the floor. Customers were fleeing in panic. "Give us the money, or we'll kill everyone." But Edwin Cartwright in the corner didn't move. He calmly raised his hands and said, "All right, boys, stay calm." The robbers started laughing, mocking an old man. They had no idea that the man standing before them was a retired Army colonel who had spent 30 years in special operations. Welcome to Silent Stories. Before we begin this powerful tale, please tell us in the comments which city you're watching from today. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, hit that subscribe button and help keep these stories alive. Hoffman's Corner Market in Millbrook Valley, Oregon, was the heart of the neighborhood. Open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day, serving everyone's needs. 3 generations shopped at this store, and behind that counter, standing in the same spot for 20 years, was Edwin Cartwright. Edwin was 67 years old, average height, calm-faced, always dressed neatly. His gray hair was combed back precisely, glasses resting on the tip of his nose. He'd never married, lived alone. Store owner Derek Hoffman trusted him completely. Edwin never came up short on cash, never got sick, never took time off. "Morning, Ed," Mrs. Beatrice Walsh would say every morning when she came to the store. "Good morning, Mrs. Walsh. How are you doing today?" "Can't complain, thank the Lord. Could I get a loaf of bread?" "Fresh batch, just came in. Still warm." That's how his days went. Ordinary, peaceful, predictable. Kids would come after school to buy candy. Edwin would always smile at them. Elderly folks would do their daily shopping and chat a bit. Young mothers would buy baby formula, and Edwin would play with their children. Everyone in the neighborhood loved him. "Ed's such a good man," they'd say. "Quiet, decent, never bothers anyone. God bless him. What wonderful service he provides." But no one knew his past, where he came from, if he had family, why he did this job. Edwin never talked about it. When asked, he'd say, "That's how life goes," and change the subject. When Maya started working there that summer, everything had changed. She was 23, fresh out of college, just starting to figure out life. She'd studied economics but couldn't find work, so she'd started at the store temporarily. "Mr. Ed, let me help you with that," she'd said on her first day. "You handle the customers, sweetheart. I'll take care of the register. But you're getting tired. I should learn too." No, you're young. Let them keep you busy. I'll sit this one out." Maya had grown attached to Edwin like a daughter. The man looked out for her like she was his own child. Every day he'd ask, "You tired, sweetheart? If you're hungry, grab something to eat. You alone at home? Say hello to your family for me." Edwin had grown to love Maya too. In 20 years, he'd never felt like he had a little sister. He worried about her safety. "Be careful during late hours, Maya," he'd constantly say. "After work, I'll walk you to the bus stop." "Mr. Ed, don't worry. What could happen? This is our neighborhood." "Sweetheart, these days anything can happen anywhere. You're a young, beautiful girl. You need to be careful." Maya would laugh at these words. She could see how worried Edwin was, but she thought he was being overly cautious. That evening was like any other. At 9 p.m., the store was winding down. The last customers were finishing their shopping and heading home. Maya was organizing the shelves. Edwin was counting the register. "Mr. Ed, I finished the shelf arrangement. Anything else I can do?" "No, sweetheart, you sit and rest. I'm just counting the money we'll leave when I'm done." Just then, someone knocked on the door. Edwin looked up. "We're closed," he called out. But the door opened. 3 masked men entered. The first was tall, wearing a black jacket, gun in hand. The second was short and heavy, in athletic wear. The third was very young, with shaking hands and panicked eyes. "Nobody move!" shouted the tall one. "Give us the money now, or we'll kill everyone!" Maya screamed and fell to the floor. Her heart was pounding so hard she couldn't breathe. There were 2 other customers in the store at the time, an elderly couple. They also retreated to the corner in fear. "Where's the money?" the robber yelled. "Come on, hurry up!" Edwin slowly stood up. His hands were raised, but his posture was calm and controlled. "All right, boys," he said in a low voice. "Stay calm. We're not going to cause you any trouble." The short robber burst out laughing. "Look at this old man. What are you going to do to us, huh?" "I'm not going to do anything to you," Edwin said. "But you're not going to touch this innocent girl." His eyes indicated Maya. The young robber whispered shakily, "Boss, let's hurry up. The cops might come." "Shut up!" yelled the tall one. Then he turned to Edwin. "You shut up, old man. Give us the money and we'll get out of here." Edwin walked slowly toward the register, but his eyes were scanning the robbers, their positions, where their weapons were, how they were moving. His mind went back 30 years. "Colonel Cartwright, enemy position identified." "How many, Sergeant?" "3 men, sir. 1 experienced, 2 rookies." "Is our strategy ready?" "Ready, sir." As he opened the register, his hands weren't shaking. His breathing wasn't irregular. The composure that years had given him was still there. "There," he said. "That's today's take." The tall robber leaned toward the register. At that moment, Edwin's eyes were measuring the other 2. He noticed that the short one was holding his gun carelessly, and the young one's hands were trembling. "This is it," he yelled. "There should be more." "That's all there is, son," Edwin said. "Small store, low turnover." The robber angrily shouted, "You're lying," and pointed his gun at Maya. "I'll kill this girl right now." In that moment, something changed inside Edwin. The gentleness in his eyes disappeared. His face hardened like stone. His posture changed, shoulders back, spine straight. His voice changed. Now it was a commander's voice. "Take the gun away from the girl." His voice came out so authoritative, so stern that all 3 robbers froze for a moment. "What did you say, old man?" "I said," Edwin took a step forward, "take your weapons away from innocent people." This time his voice was even sterner. It was the voice of a colonel who had commanded for 30 years, managed hundreds of operations. The short robber laughed, but this time there was tension in his laughter. "Who are you? Superman?" Edwin didn't answer. He just fixed his eyes on the tall one's eyes. And that look was the gaze of a warrior who had faced thousands of enemies. "You're children," he said calmly. "This is your first time. You're inexperienced. You don't even know how to use those weapons you're holding." The young robber started shaking more. "Boss, this guy's weird. Let's get out of here." "Shut up," yelled the tall one. But there wasn't that previous confidence in his voice anymore. Edwin continued. "Look, boys, you got the money. Now go. But don't touch innocent people, because then I'll have to get involved." "What are you going to do? You're just a clerk." Edwin smiled for the first time, but this smile wasn't pleasant at all. "I'm the kind of person," he said slowly, "who can neutralize 3 kids like you all by myself." At that moment, what we see in action movies became real. Edwin's posture, his gaze, his voice. His entire store clerk identity had vanished, replaced by someone completely different. Who are you?" stammered the tall robber. "Who am I?" Edwin took another step forward. "I'm retired Colonel Edwin Cartwright, served 30 years in the United States Army, fought from Vietnam to the Middle East, trained in special operations, participated in hundreds of classified missions." Silence. Edwin continued. "And you're currently pointing weapons at people I'm protecting." The young robber dropped his gun. His hands were shaking so much he couldn't hold it. "Boss, let's go," he whispered. "This guy's military. He'll kill us." The short robber also stepped back. "So what if you're a colonel?" You're old. You're weak." Edwin actually laughed this time. "Weak? Want to see?" And then something happened that no one could fully understand how it occurred. Edwin took one step, extended his hand, grabbed the tall robber's wrist and twisted it. The gun fell to the floor. At the same time, with his other hand, he gave a light strike to the man's neck. The robber collapsed. The second one tried to intervene, but Edwin turned and bent his arm. The man screamed in pain, and he too fell to the floor. The young one was already trying to run, but Edwin commanded, "Stop!" It was such a firm order that the young man froze. "Come back here." The kid came back crying. "Mister, I swear I didn't want to. They forced me." Edwin collected all 3 weapons and placed them on the counter. Then he looked at Maya. "You okay, sweetheart?" Maya couldn't open her mouth from shock. Her eyes were wide, staring at Edwin as if she were seeing a ghost. "Call the police," he told the elderly couple. "I'll watch these guys." The 2 robbers were groaning on the floor. The young one was crying in the corner. "Colonel, sir," said the elderly man, trembling. Were you really a colonel?" "Retired colonel," Edwin corrected. "But that's not important. What's important is that no one got hurt." Maya finally managed to speak. "Mr. Edwin, you ... I'm still your Mr. Ed," he said gently. "Sometimes the past just comes back." When the police arrived, they were very surprised. 3 robbers had been neutralized, none seriously injured, just lying there, helpless. "Who did this?" asked the detective. The elderly couple pointed at Edwin. "This gentleman." The detective looked at Edwin. He saw a 67-year-old man with glasses, a calm store clerk. "How so?" "Detective," Edwin said. "I'm a retired colonel. Edwin Cartwright. Service number 15,749. The detective pulled out his phone and called headquarters. "Yes, Edwin Cartwright, 15749. "Okay, I'm waiting." "What do you mean? I understand. Thank you." He hung up and looked at Edwin. "Colonel, your record is here. 30 years of service, dozens of medals, Special Operations Command. But what are you doing here?" "I retired. Needed to work. This job is work. But you've been a clerk at this store for 20 years. "Yes." "And nobody knew?" "There was no need." That night there was great excitement in the neighborhood. Word spread about who Edwin really was. People gathered in front of the store. "Ed, have you been a colonel for 20 years? Why didn't you tell us? How many medals do you have? What wars did you fight in?" Edwin deflected all questions with a smile. "That's in the past. I'm a clerk now, that's all." But Maya went home that night and thought a lot. For 20 years, the man she worked with, who loved her like a daughter, she had never understood who he really was. The next day, Edwin came as usual. Same time, same clothes. "Good morning, sweetheart." "Good morning, Edwin." "Colonel." "No, sweetheart. I'm your Mr. Editor. That other stuff is closed." Maya looked at him with different eyes now. "Mr. Ed, last night I did what was necessary. You were going to be hurt. I intervened. That's all. But you were a colonel, fought for 30 years, and here you're a clerk." Edwin paused. Then he sat down next to Maya. "Look, sweetheart," he said. "I fought for my country for 30 years. I saw every kind of danger, endured every kind of hardship. When I retired, I was tired. I just wanted a quiet, peaceful life. But here, this job gives me peace. I build good relationships with people. Nobody expects anything from me, and I don't complicate anyone's life. This makes me happy." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "But didn't anyone know?" "Derek knows. He saw my papers when he hired me, but he never told anyone either." "Why did you keep it secret?" Edwin thought for a long time. "Because, sweetheart, real heroism isn't about showing off. It's about being there when people need you. For 20 years, I've been here in this neighborhood, beside everyone who needed help. That's enough for me. That day, the store was very crowded. Neighborhood people kept coming to see Edwin, trying to talk with him. "Colonel, let's have some coffee. Colonel, you're invited to our house. Colonel, let's get you on TV." Edwin thanked everyone, but politely declined. "I'm just a clerk, folks. Don't make a big deal of it." That evening, as the store was closing, Maya asked, "Mr. Ed, do you regret it? Being hidden all these years?" "No, sweetheart. I did what was right. Showing off isn't my style. But if people had known you, they would have shown you so much respect. Respect has to be earned through actions. I already earned my respect, quietly, without making noise." Maya thought about it. "Last night I was scared, but when you were there, I felt safe. That's why I'm here, sweetheart. So, you can be safe." Walking home that evening, Maya thought about many things. Knowing that people like Edwin existed gave her hope. There were still good people in the world, people who still looked out for others. And Edwin was smiling as he walked home too. His hidden identity for 20 years had been revealed, but this wouldn't disturb his peace. He knew who he was. People knew now too. But this wouldn't change how he lived. The next morning, he came early to the store as usual. Mrs. Walsh came again to buy bread. "Good morning, Colonel." "Good morning, Mrs. Walsh. I'm still your Mr. Ed." "Oh, but you're a colonel. How can I call you Mr. Ed?" "You will, because I'll always be your Mr. Ed." And so life continued. Edwin still stood at the register, served customers, looked out for Maya. But now the eyes looking at him in the neighborhood were different, respectful, grateful. And Edwin knew that sometimes real heroism is appearing ordinary, because true strength is not feeling the need to prove yourself. So there you have it, a story just like that. Do you know people like Edwin, who never boast but step forward when needed? Tell us about them in the comments. Write their names. Because here at Silent Stories, we continue telling the stories of people who do great things quietly. Subscribe and help these stories be heard. Until we meet in the next video. And remember, real heroes are sometimes hidden in the most ordinary places.